Hello, people. Welcome back. Please like and subscribe. That's what they say, right? So, yeah, throwing that out there. Um, okay, so today I want to talk about being an empath and what that means to people who are an empath and how it can be confusing um, in relationship to other people, especially when you know that you are an empath and how it can impact your relationship with other people. So, okay, let's unpack this, right? So, first of all, what is an empath? Right? So, an empath is somebody that feels what other people feel. However, it is not just about feeling what other people feel. It is about feeling the energy of people, places, and things. You can go into a room and feel the energy of the room. It's like, when you go into somebody else's house, or you go to a party, or you go into the club, right? Or wherever it is that you're going, uh, pick a place, right? Work, going for an interview, going to work like daily, wherever you're out, right? Just going outside, going to a store. And so if you're an empath, it's like you feel the vibe of that place, right? Oh, this is a good vibe, or like that's a bad vibe, right? This person, they have a bad vibe. I don't know what it is about this person. They just feel really good to me, or they feel like really bad, like whatever, and they act one way, but my feeling about them is something completely different, right? Than what it is that they're saying or the way that they're behaving, right? That's what we're gonna talk about here. Part of what we're going to talk about. Really? I don't really know what that means. As usual, Spirit has a say in what is going to come out of my face, because, right, I'll give a little like history lesson here, right? So, growing up, I didn't know that I was or that I am an empath, right? Um, Being psychic is something that runs in my family, but I didn't necessarily think that I had that. We used to go to my aunt's house and she would teach us how to read auras. Like, I didn't see anything. I'm like, what the hell? What's happening here? And, but I also knew that I didn't necessarily like people, um, because I used to say, I don't like people, they inflict feelings on me. And I didn't understand that that was being an empath. Right? I just knew that when I was around other people, I would go through these changes and I didn't like what it was doing. And I didn't really know how to like fit in with people. And, because I felt like I had to be a chameleon with them, and I had to change who I am in order to fit into the box of what this group of people wanted to be doing, right? And it was painful, and it can still be painful, and I do not do that. Sometimes you kind of have to, in professional places. Um, but that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons I work for myself, because working for a company, um, it was horrific. Just yeah, being in that box, 9 to 5 IBM suit world. That's what I used to call it. And so this is my second Saturn return, and I started going to this psychic development group, kind of skimming over a lot of things, um, because they don't really matter in the story. Um, so I started going to this psychic development group, and everything started happening. I mean, um, we were learning to read cards, and I started channeling information. Spirit started coming through, and that was like weird. I didn't know what that was all about. Um, I didn't really understand about being a medium. I didn't understand clairvoyance. I didn't understand clairaudience. Um, a lot of that is like confusing people, throw these terms around. Clairaudience is to be able to hear spirit, clairvoyance. The clairaudience is interesting because if you're a clairaudient, it means you can hear if people are lying. So I let people say what they want to say, and I kind of give them enough rope to hang themselves, as I call it. They think that they're getting away with something, but they're not. I don't know, it has a vibe to it, right? It's like, as an empath and clairaudience, it's like clairaudience is clear hearing, clairvoyance is clear vision. I mean, to be able to see things clearly, to be able to see things. It's clairvoyance is not just about being able to see the future, right? It is about seeing the big picture of things, right? I am a Virgo, so we do tend to want to micromanage and look at like the minuscule of things, right? But as somebody that is clairvoyant, spirit shows me like the bigger picture, the longevity of things, how things are going to work out like long term, and not always um day to day kind of things. So it's important to understand that things are going to work out long term, and that you don't have to kind of like micromanage things. And I feel like that is channeled information. I feel like spirit just slapped me in the head, not literally, but I tell people I am a control freak, and I want to know everything about everything. Right? It's why I started becoming, it's why I thought that being psychic would be a good thing, because I thought that I would know more things about me, but that's not how it works. Uh, being psychic is more for helping other people. Yes, I use it in my daily life to kind of maneuver through my life. However, it is generally meant to be able to help other people, especially being an empath. And I'm trying to stay focused on that. However, uh, as I already said, like, spirit has their own ideas about how things are going to go, and I am not always in charge. Spirit wants me to come on here, do this, so I come on here and I do this, and then sometimes they take over. This, it feels to me in my life like when I am talking to people or doing whatever, somebody's always trying to like whisper in my ear. And so I don't know who this is, but lately there is a woman that is front and center delivering messages. For a while it was a man, now there's this woman. And so not really sure who she is. She doesn't feel like a relative. So I don't know. If it is, I don't think I've met her in real life. So anyway, trying to stay on this topic about being an empath. However, like because I work in different modes, it all kind of goes together for me. Um, when I started doing readings, like I wasn't planning on doing this for a living. Uh, and I went to this place and I started doing readings there. And I did not understand that the feelings that I was getting, I thought that I was there to read cards, right? Like I'm just here to read cards. And I didn't understand that being an empath was part of the reading. So I had two decks. One deck was to see what was happening on the outside of them. One deck was to see what was happening inside of them, the empathic part. But I didn't realize that when I was doing a reading for these people, that the angst that I was feeling, part of that was their angst, right? What is he going to say to me? How is this going to go? Like, what am I going to hear about my life? Am I going to hear what I want to hear, or am I going to hear what they want to say? Whatever. And so, like, and I didn't get any of that in the beginning. Right? Nobody explained it to me. Like, I didn't learn. I didn't take really like classes to read cards. Not in the general sense about, oh, this card means this card means this card means this. When I went to the psychic development group, it was like, there was like 10, 15, 20 people around, and we would like pull three cards. Somebody would pull three cards and then would pass them around the group and just say what it is that you got off of the cards, right? From the pictures, from the feelings, something, whatever. And so I didn't learn to read cards by the book. And and I still don't necessarily do that. Sometimes I do. I can tell you what they mean, like by the book, but that's not really how I read. So this being an empath thing was like a big deal to figure that out. And so when I read, it's like the first thing that happens is that I feel things from a person, and then I start seeing things about the person in connection with whatever it is that I'm feeling. And then it starts being a film, and then I start hearing what it is that I am watching. So then when I'm doing a reading, I'll be staring off into space, kind of watching this film, and the client is looking over here to see what I'm looking at. And I'm like, you're not going to see what I'm looking at. There's nothing to hold. I'm not watching somebody coming in the room or whatever. And so, so people can get confused. And like I said, when I'm doing a reading, I'm not in charge. I just start hearing things, seeing things, whatever. And stuff happens, you know. And so there's all of that. So when you operate as an empath and you're with other people, like out in the world in general, right? And this is why I wanted to do this video, is because I've done a couple of readings recently, and this has come up more predominantly. And I was talking to a friend, and she's also empathic, and so it has come up for her as well. And it has come up, you know, over the course of like the 30 some odd years that I've been doing readings for people. And what it is that people have these feelings about other people, right? And they get this information from somebody else, and then they think that the information that they are getting is about them. So that is something that is confusing to people. um, and that's really the kind of topic that I want to basically hone in on today. Um, because that information is not, uh, sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not accurate, like at all, right? Um, so, and it's interesting to me because, and this is also something that has been coming up lately. I can't do readings, and at least that's the story I tell myself. I can't do readings, and I'm not doing, or I can't do, I'm not doing YouTube videos without coffee. So, keeps my mind focused. Um, okay. When I was in 7th grade, this teacher, and she would um, hand out these pictures, right? Just random pictures out of a magazine, something, whatever, no context about what it is. And then we had to make up a story about what was happening in the picture, right? And it turned out that I was really good at that. And I don't know, sometimes I think that I should write short stories and um, do it in that particular way. Um, because I think that I would do really well doing these like short story kind of a thing. Um, so yeah, and what I didn't understand that time was that that was preparing me for doing readings. Um, because when you're looking at the pictures, you can feel what is happening with those people. There's an emotional thing that is happening in these pictures. And when I read cards, it's the same thing. And when you're looking at them, looking for a deck to look at right now. Um, so let's see here. This is my new deck. It's called Vintage Tarot, right? So just for example, right? So like the Four of Cups, right? It's like you look at the guy, right? He's sitting there, arms folded, right? It's like fours are meant to be about stability, right? This card has never said anything to me about any kind of emotional stability. I don't know what it says in the book, but I always get this thing about this guy's not having it, you know, and it's like not interested in whatever it is that's going on. And so I don't know. I look at different things. I get different things based on what it is that's going on, right? So Four of Pentacles, all the another four. So technically, this card is about trying to hold on to money, save money, stuff like that. Lately, it has been telling me about somebody that keeps their cards too close to their chest, right? And kind of holding back, like reserving, their stuff, right? Not just about their money and finances, right? So you look at it and you can kind of see something like what's happening with this guy's face, right? Seems to be all excited, right? And whatever. But it's that, but I don't have other pictures. magazines, stuff like that hanging around. But that's the kind of thing, is like you look at the picture and then you kind of see, you can feel, I feel. Um, Looking at photographs is the same to me as looking at a tarot card. It's the same thing. I see spirits in there. I see things that are going on. I feel the emotional connection, right? When you are feeling something from an object, um, that is called psychometry. Right? It's like you can feel the history, and sometimes I time trip with that. I got, um, I don't have it here, but um, my first piece of quartz crystal, uh, I got it and I used to hold it and kind of meditate with it, whatever. And I time tripped back to, like, I don't even know where I was. I know that there were no buildings. I know that it was before actual civilizations, and it felt very desertish to me. Um, and wherever that was, that crystal, that quartz crystal I had, that's where that came from. So, kind of freaked me out. I wasn't expecting that. Um, so, whatever it was, and it's one of the reasons why I don't really like touch people, unless I have to. But public transportation, crowds, right? It's like I'm not going there, and because it's like you touch them, and for me, the analogy that I make is it's like plugging in a lamp. So when you touch somebody, the electricity flows, their energy flows, and then I see things, I feel things about them, and whatever. And so it can be really difficult being around other people. And so if somebody is an empath, right, people want to use this term floating around, right? Social anxiety. It's a made up term by um, psychiatrists, therapists, like those people that they don't understand being an empath, right? Um, they call it social anxiety. I'm anxious when I'm around other people. Well, yeah, because you're feeling all of the stuff that is going on with these people, and it's difficult to process because you don't understand. It's like sensory overload, right? And and people think it's about them, right? They think that they're the ones who are messed up because they have all of these feelings going on when they're in this group, right? And it's not about them, right? It's these other people, and their life is messed up, and they have this chaos. And it's like if it was one on one, right, then you may be able to be more clear that it's coming from this other person, right? But if you don't know what an empath is and you don't have any history with any of that, then it's going to be difficult to get a grip on that. Um, so I do readings for this person, and they're always like, "Oh, like, is this me? Is this coworker stuff, whatever?" And I'm like, "No." And this thing has come up for this person, right? They're like, "Oh, like, I feel like they hate me and stuff, whatever." And it's got nothing to do with that person. It's got nothing to do with the one that I'm reading. It's like they're feeling this thing about this person, and that person is aggravated about something, about somebody. Um, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's about the person. It doesn't mean it's about that empath that's sitting there with them, right? As an empath, we feel what other people feel. And so what does that mean? It means that when we are feeling them, we think that whatever we're feeling is in relationship to us. right? But it's not. We have to put ourselves in that other person's shoes, because what happens is that that person is over there and we're pulling their energy towards us, right? And then we're getting that person's thing, and then it gets mixed up in our energy and it messes us up, right? But if you extend your energy to where they are and start reading them about them, then you will start understanding that, oh, they're pissed off and aggravated about whatever, and it's somebody else, right? It can be somebody at their house, it can be another employee, it can be like their friend, it can be whatever, right? But chances are it is not about you. It's not about me, it's not about whatever, right? Um, People tend to be self-centered in general, and so they usually go on this whole like trip about all that, right? So it's really important, if you are an empath, to shield yourself, and there are a lot of different ways to do that. Probably have to make a video about that. Um, Visualizing a shield around yourself. I have different methods that I have done with people. You might Google the Tower of Light. That's what I call it. That's what I was taught. And one of the things that I was taught, it can be sort of complicated, but it's basically you put an egg around yourself. One of the ways is like put an egg around yourself, basically, and keep it strong, whatever, and then it kind of keeps whatever out there, right? Um, and basically, it's like mind your own business as well is one thing, right? If somebody has something going on, leave it over there, right? It's one of the big things that I've had to learn in this life is like leave people alone, right? There is a thing called the psychic code of ethics, right? And if you're reading somebody and they're not asking you to read them, it's like opening their mail, right? So if somebody doesn't like you, right, let them tell you, right? If they're not hanging around you, then chances are they don't like you, right? So who knows, right? We have to keep our own stuff clear. We have to keep our own energy clear. I do a lot of meditation, right? Going through the 7 major chakras, right? But there are others in the body. And as somebody that is psychic, empathic, all of that, it's our job to keep our energy clear. Meditating, start at the top, kind of clearing your energy from your head down to your feet, from your feet to the top of your head, whichever way you're doing it. It's completely up to you how you do that. Make up your own way of doing it. Whatever works for you is fine. So yeah. So as somebody that is an empath, we also feel things across time, right? So as an empath, our superpower is our heart. Which is extremely funny, because if you are an empath, it's very possible that you could end up not liking people because you think that they inflict feelings on you, right? And um and that's not how it works. You have to keep your side of the street clean, right? And and all of that. forget where I was. Somebody was on a roll here. Um, oh, yeah. When you are an empath and you are going to different places, right? You kind of have to be careful about where you're hanging out, right? You kind of have to be careful who you're hanging out with, right? Because wherever you're at, right, we cannot just go other places like other people do, right? If you are not an empath, then you can go wherever you want to go, and it doesn't affect you the same way that it affects an empath. You can go to these parties, you can go to these places where there are a lot of people, and those crowds are not going to affect you. Your energy isn't as open as somebody that is an empath. Um, so, um, so when you're around these other people and you're taking on this energy from toxic workplaces, toxic people, wherever, and so you can take on that energy, and then it can make you sick, right? And because the buildup, if you're not clearing your energy, however you're going to do that, then it's like situation overload. Sensory overload, all that, right? And then it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and hold it in, hold it in, hold it in. Oh, I have to be good. I have to be nice. I have to be this, that, blah blah blah, right? And it's not going anywhere. So then, and then you wonder why you're sick, right? So there's that. And the thing that I was going after was about feeling things across time. Yeah. So as an empath, we feel things across time. Um, we feel things that are coming at us. And sometimes I've fallen into this trap, and we get this information psychically, whether it is through being an empath, feeling something that is coming down the road, or spirit tells us about something somehow or another, right? And we think that it is happening now, or we think that it is happening like today, tomorrow, something, right? And it's not necessarily that. And if you're feeling something from somebody and you're feeling something is coming towards them, right? They may not have any idea what any of that is all about, right? It's not even on their radar. So it doesn't necessarily make sense to be telling somebody something that they're not going to have any clue about. And if you don't have credibility as a psychic, as an empath, then they're probably going to look at you like you're a nutcase. And not for nothing, but sometimes when we approach people, we're all anxious about it because it's to us it feels like this big thing, and so we can act like a nutcase. And in the past, before I started like getting a grip on all this stuff that has happened, and so now it's like, you know what, that's their life. Whatever's going to go on with them is what's going to go on with them. And because as an empath, we want to fix things, we want to fix people, and it's not always our job to be doing that. So yeah. So let me know if you have any other questions about being an empath. I will say this, that if you feel something coming towards you, right? Like, oh, like I I've been going through this thing lately, and feeling like there's some big like event that is like coming down the road, right? Um, it's important to practice patience and allow this thing to come at you, right? Because if you go chasing it, right? Oh, I want to make this happen now, right? I want to have this thing happen now. You're going to chase it away, right? Um, where is it? Oh, this deck. Where are you? Six of Pentacles. ¿Dónde está? Yes. Taking Spanish lessons, so sometimes things come out in Spanish. So, Six of Pentacles. Technically, this card is in this deck, Crowley, Thoth, whatever you call it. I don't really care. I've had this deck a long time. So technically this card is called Success, right? Six of Pentacles. In other deck, it's about, it can be related to gratitude. It can be related to, giving alms to the poor, like that kind of a thing. It can be, people giving money or having an excess of money so that you're able to, in other decks, it looks like this, right? So there's a scale here, scales of balance. So it's like having enough money, but extra so that you can give to charity, give to whatever. Sometimes it can be, you could be one of these people receiving. However, whatever deck I'm reading, the way that I do the reading can be different based on the cards. So when I get this card, this reminds me of a boardroom, right? People sitting around the table, right? Only it's really, to me, it is more about a spiritual boardroom. It's about your guides who are out there in the background saying like, hey, Betty, or, well, not Betty, but maybe there's a Betty watching this, I don't know. Like Betty has this stuff going on and we got to take care of her and whatever, and what are we going to do about this and whatever, right? And that card to me talks about things going on behind the scenes, right? It's like it's not here yet, right? One of the things that I do is that I watch people's timeline, right? The person is here. I love my selenite. The person is here, right? Something is up here, and spirit is preparing you for what it is that's coming. You just have to do your thing, right? All these events have to unfold. All these events have to unfold until you get there, right? And you just have to wait. And who likes that, right? Not me. So I've become much more patient since I've become, this psychic person here. I used to say patience is a virtue and I have none. But I've learned to be much more patient in this lifetime. So yeah. Yeah. So anyway, when I finish a reading with people, normally I will say, good luck with all of that. Because I usually like drop bombs on people and be like, oh, like you have this going on, this. It's a lot of stuff. I usually tell people to record your reading. And I do private readings. I have a website, edward1313, edward13.com. You can check that out. Prices are there. I usually charge like $75 for a half hour or $140 for an hour. I do Reiki sessions in person or at a distance. I have people around the country. I live near Boston, but I have different people around the country that I do Reiki sessions for, and I've gotten like really good results for that. Um, and it helps being psychic to do Reiki for people. So, yeah. Anyway, you should take payments by Venmo or by PayPal, something like that. So, yeah, good luck with all of that. And somebody's here. We'll see you on the flip side. Like I said, like, subscribe, leave a comment if you got something out of it, or if you have questions about something else that you would like a video about. Let me know. Leave a comment, and we'll see about doing that. I don't know, like, I should say there's a plan. It's not always my plan, but there's a plan. I was thinking about like teaching runes, because I do read runes as well. Um, I was thinking about teaching classes on here. So we'll see what all is going to go on. Um, I'm not usually in charge. I know what it is I want to be doing with my life. However, um, sometimes spirit has other plans. So, you know, I don't know if we have these like contracts or not, spiritual contracts. Um, you know, sometimes I think so, sometimes I don't know. Um, I don't know. I just kind of follow the path and go along. So, anyway, have fun, be well, stay safe, take care of your energy. Um, you have a TikTok out there now too that I'm doing things. Um, Still like Edward 13R. So we'll see. All right. Ciao.